So here's some quick notes on commenting in Java. Comments are just pieces of text that you put into a program to explain it, to make it easier to read, easier to understand, easier for you if you come back to it, easier for someone else who's looking at your code to figure out what it's doing. Comments don't matter to the computer. They're ignored by the compiler. They don't affect the way the program runs. When you compile the code, the comments are gone. So they're just there to make it easier to read and easier to understand for human beings. So in Java, there's two ways to insert comments into code. One way is right here. Everything in a comment, everything is a comment to the end of the line. The other one is right here, where you get everything between the slash, asterisk, asterisk, slash, or slash star, star slash is a comment. So slash slash to the end of the line, slash asterisk, and it will be comment until you have asterisk slash. So when you go into most development environments, like if you're in coding rooms that you're going to be using in here, comments will be in a different color from the regular text. And that just makes it, again, it's easier to read because that's what comments are for. So here's some examples. Like if we're declaring an array called counters, we declare it, we put slash slash holds all roll counts. That might be important in a program that's rolling dice. Or we can have a couple slash slash method returns the sum of the square of each value in data. So it gives you a quick description of what that method does. Or a slash slash at the end to tell you what two variables are for. You can use the slash star, star slash, that you use that to for a longer comment, like this one describing what that method does. There's one other thing you can do with the slash star is that sometimes you might want to have like say int x equals 17, int y equals 23, the int z equals scnr dot read int to get something from the keyboard. And let's say you decided that, I don't want to have that code in there for a while. I'm testing it and that code's not used. You can do this and you'll just comment out. That whole section of code will become comment. It'll change color and everything in here will just be gone. So when do you use comments? Well, you should use comments to describe what each section of a piece of code's doing. You're going to use comments at the start of each method to explain what the method does. You should have header comments at the top of a new class file, just like the name of the class, its purpose, probably the name, your name, the name of the coder, and the date. Basically, use comments to explain parts of the code that may be confusing or not immediately obvious. You should not comment every line and every variable. Here's just an example. Like the good example over here would be this one. You say like coordinates of the sphere center and then declare the three variables. A not as good example would be this, where you're going through and declaring each, right? You don't need to say x coordinate of center, y coordinate of center, z coordinate of center. The x, y, and z are going to be pretty obvious. So if you just say coordinates of the sphere center, that's more descriptive and you're making your code easier to read. So in most computer science classes, including this one, and almost all jobs for developers, you're going to have coding standards. Those coding standards are for things where, like, how you name variables, how you name methods, whether an opening brace goes on at the end of a line of code or on the beginning of the line below it, how the indenting should happen, just various things about the style. It's the same thing as if you were writing a paper and they're telling you this should be in APA or MLA format for that paper. It's just a style thing. It makes it easier to read through code if everybody's using the same conventions. Those standards are going to typically include how to and when to write comments in your code. So what style of comments, how to write them, what things need to be commented, and what things do not need to be commented. So one last thing is JavaDoc style comments. Java includes a way to automatically generate documentation. You've probably already seen it at this point when you've looked at the Java API that tells you like all the methods in the math class or all the methods available in the ArrayList class, string class. Those are JavaDocs. If you write the comments in the right style for each method and constructor, when you can run the JavaDoc tool and it will automatically generate the HTML pages for your code. And it's very nice. It'll like if you include, you can include other classes and link them together so you can have all the classes in your project together on one HTML page where you can select each one of them. And if you include things like, if you have down here where you see at param, right? Well, that at param data says, all right, the parameter is data, and it'll say the array to be averaged. That's going to show up as a parameter in the documentation. The at return tells what gets returned by that method, and that'll show up in the documentation. So will the description. So if you have multiple parameters like we have here, then you can delineate what each parameter stands for with the at param commands and automatically generate documentation. That's just a cool feature of Java. It's not something that you need to know for the AP exam, but it's a really nice feature of Java that makes it better. Thank you for listening.